Hey folks, it's Mangrel. We're doing another video on our Dell Alienware PC. We're going to try to stick this guy. This is a RTX 3070. We're going to try to stick this guy into this guy. First thing we got to do is shut it down. Let's do the Microsoft approved shut off. It's shut off. First thing we have to do is get the case open. So we come right to the back, and over here there is a Phillips screwdriver. So just open up that screwdriver. Actually, it's not a screwdriver, it's a screw. So open up the Phillips screw. And then you can pull this handle straight up and out, and that pops out the side panel. Just open it up, pull it out, and now set this aside. All right, now that we have the side panel open, let's lie the computer flat on the ground. And this is where we have our first problem. Because you can see this video card is not going to fit in this case. It's going to hit the fan at the very front. And that's why when you look inside the computer, the 3080 that's inside there is actually a shorter version, and it only has 2 fans. So what we want to actually do is purchase one of these GPU risers, and I'll give you a link to this in the video description. Pick one of these up, plus you can 3D print this piece here. Again, I'll give you a link in the video description, but this will allow us to put our video card outside of the case. And I picked up this video card so I can do some additional Ethereum mining. So yeah, since the last video, I really got into Ethereum mining. Haven't made any money yet, but from a hobby perspective, it's been pretty fun. And if you missed our last video, make sure you check out the modification to the 3080. You have to do that in order to do mining on the Dell Alienware. Without it, it'll thermal throttle and you won't get very good hash rates. So let's start by assembling our GPU riser. So when you open the package, this is what it comes with. So we will start with this biggest piece first. So go ahead and remove this foam padding. You don't need that. And then take your 3D printed piece, and we want to insert this into this. And it'll be a little bit of a tight fit initially, but it will fit. So you can see there's a groove over here. So just go ahead and line up the groove. Just line it up. And then push it in. It'll get really tight over here, but it will fit through. And then push it in all the way. There we go. So now it's all the way in. And the whole intent is that the video card will go on top of this, and then this will be pretty stable on the floor. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and plug in our power cable. So this cable will power this board. So we can go ahead and plug that in over here. And this will convert a power supply hard drive connector into this. And then we can go ahead and connect one side of our USB cable into here. All right. Then we can take our video card, and we want to insert the video card into this slot here. So just line it up. Just take your time. Come on. Okay, there we go. So just insert it into there. And then there's a little tiny clip. So we want to get in there. Little clip. There's a little clip over here. So you want to push that little clip forward. It's going to be a little tough to see it in the camera, but that little white clip there, you want to stick your finger in there and then push it forward. There we go. So what that clip actually does is it'll hold the back part of the video card in, so the video card cannot come out. Okay, so this is perfect. We'll set that aside, and you see how it sits here, nice and stable. So it can sit here on the floor, nice and stable. It's well off the floor. so we don't have to worry about it pulling in too much dust and you know, dirt and those kind of things. But now this is good to go. So let's move over to the computer. All right, on the computer you have a extra video card cable here. So we'll just unclip that. So just lift up the edge, bring that back here, close it off. Plus we've already got a hard drive power cable here, so that should be perfect. And then you want to take this little guy and plug him in your spare GPU port. So let me get this in here and I'll show you. It's going to be very tight, but I will do it. Oh my God. Okay, so it should look like that. So you see this piece over here. So you want to stick that into your GPU slot. And then we want to stick the other side of our USB cable in here. And what I think probably is the best idea, you want to remove one of these slots. So remove one of these slots. And then what we can do is we can route the cables from this slot outside. I guess it depends, are you using the case in an open configuration or a closed configuration? But you could actually open this up. So if you go unlock, unlock, and then just pull this up, you can remove these slots, and then you can route the cable this way. Now for the purpose of this video, we'll just do it outside of the case in an open configuration, but that's always an option. So stick that back on here, lock it. Okay, let's stand the case up. And then the intent here would be that we bring this video card right next to the case, something like this. And then what we can do now is we can start plugging it in. So we'll take our power supply connector, and then we'll just plug the power supply connector in, and it'll only go in one way. Then we'll take our GPU power connectors, and this is two 8 pins. So you want to line up the two sides of the pin. No, other way around. Okay, so it clips together like that. And then we want to go ahead and plug it in. And the same with the other one. So install the pin first, get these two sides together. Okay. And then the last step is you want to install this into that small adapter that is on the motherboard. So that's going to be a little bit fun, but should be able to do it fairly easily. Actually, probably should plug this in first and then all the video card power connectors. But let me move this out of the way, and I think we should still be able to get it. All right, there we go. So now it's all plugged in. Let me get the monitor hooked up. Let me get the keyboard, power, everything hooked up, and then we'll see how we made out. All right, moment of truth. We're pushing the power button. Okay, fans are spinning. That's a good sign. Fans are no longer spinning. Is that a good sign? Okay, so monitor says Alienware. So it should start to boot into Windows. Yeah, we're into Windows, okay. So now let me switch over to a screen share and then we'll set up some Ethereum mining and see what happens. Now that we've successfully booted into Windows, we want to double check that everything was detected successfully. So we can go here, manage, we can go to device manager, and under display adapters, perfect. So we see our RTX 3070, which is our external GPU, and then we see our 3080, which is the internal GPU. And this one says, yep, working properly, perfect. Now what you want to do is get your miner set up correctly. Depending on which miner you use, that'll be different steps. For me, I use LOL Miner, and this is where LOL Miner doesn't support multi-GPU properly. So you have to create two different instances of your LOL Miner. So we'll create one folder and then a copy of that same folder. And within each folder, you want to tell it to use a particular GPU. So you can modify your mine.eth batch file. So just go under edit. And here where it says devices, you want to have one folder where it says devices 0, which is GPU 0. And then your other one will say devices 1, which is your second GPU. And you'll just launch two applications pretty much. And I'll show you that. Once you got that set up, what we also want to do is go ahead and set up our overclocks, or I guess your underclocks. So within MSI Afterburner, we've got our two GPUs. So GPU 2, which is our 3070, I've got 75% power limit, minus 500 plus 950. And I've got very similar for the 3080 here, 75, 950, that's perfect. So now all we have to really do is launch the two versions. Now we can tell that GPU 1 is our 3070 just based on the speed. So it's roughly 60 mega hash. That is pretty typical for a 3070. So that's hashing very well. Now we can go ahead and launch the other instance of LOL Miner. So I'll close this, get it out of the way. Next version, launch. All right, and we can tell that the other window is our 3080 because it's roughly around that 90 mega hash. Now it hasn't stabilized yet. Plus I'm doing the screen capture right now, but this should get to about 95, and this is already working at its roughly 60, so that's perfect, and that's perfect as well. So there you have it. This is a very easy way for you to add an additional GPU to your Alienware. You can have it external to the case so it runs cooler, and it gives you a lot more flexibility for mining. And long story short, I actually bought this 3070 in the height of the Ethereum mining, I guess, craze. So I paid a pretty top dollar for it, so I suspect I'll never break even. But you know what? It gives me the opportunity of making content like this for my YouTube viewers. So I hope you guys liked it. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and help me recoup the crazy amount I paid for this 3070.